Hi guys, for those of you who have already heard, Nava Grove, yes, it has already been included within the 1 km radius of Henry Park Primary School, which previously when they were launched, I believe developers were very conservative because compared to the neighbor which is Pine Tree Hill, beside all blocks are within the 1 km radius. This one, nothing was really confirmed. There was also only speculation that a block 38 could be more or less the Pop one, more or less only. And the other two question mark, maybe 40 is the most question mark, but for block 42 was a little bit here and there, yes and no. But turns out all three are within. So congratulations for those of you who take a leap of faith. I think it was well deserved because sometimes you need a little bit of risk in life to be able to reap the rewards, right? And let's just take a look over here. Over here, you can see that this is block 42, and since block 42, you see this is previously the radius, right, around here, around here, or maybe even cut here. But this one was a question mark. And since this one is already inside, so this one no doubt, so we only look at this one and this one. Block 42 already included in Henry Park Primary School. The other one, block 40, also included in Henry Park Primary School. Let's take a look at what are some of the other examples, or maybe on the other side, what happens if a lot of people or other developer previously thinks that it is within 1 km radius, advertise it, so at a premium price, and then turns out it wasn't, which previously it was the Musu Grand. You see, previously that was like, this is definitely more than 1 year ago because previously I took this article way before that. It was near a number of educational institutions in Guanghua within 1 km radius, and that's why contributed to good sale, right? But after that, 29 July came out last year, says that obviously, please pardon the lack of substance in the English because this is a Chinese website. If I'm not 联合早报, should be lah. I'm not, I can't remember. But this one is a translation by the website. So please take a little bit of salt in the English. But what this means is that it was changed from 1 km radius to more than 1 km radius, causing dissatisfaction amongst the buyers. And unfortunately for those people who bought it, thinking that it's going to be within 1 km radius to Guanghua, unfortunately it didn't turn out to be the case. But I think it's only fair because I think that is the problem when people want to buy a property and try to go for the 1 km chance, because even especially for those popular schools, you should know that just by buying within that 1 km, it doesn't mean 报价 you confirm will go in. And that's why when you factor in all these property transaction costs, right, it should, I would say the financial costs would be way too high for you to just get a chance, unless you have like those staff, or maybe the siblings already 报价 inside, which you don't even need the 1 km radius. Then why would you want to go and spend so much money just to go and bore? It can be easily 5-6 figures worth of costs. So as you can see over here in this one map, that is not included anymore within 1 km radius. And as such, since this news came out, unfortunately, instead of price increase, we don't see the price increasing anymore. This was when the news roughly came out, and then look at where Tembusu Grand is. I'm not saying this is a direct result of the schools not really in there, but it doesn't give that attractive factor that last time people buy a development, and then sometimes when you buy an investment property, you want additional bonus factors thrown in after you buy so that it adds on and sweeten the deal for your future buyers, and that is how it works. So later I will show you another example, but unfortunately this is not the case. It's like the bonus factor being taken away from you. So unfortunately, and this is Lentor Hills. Previously, these two blocks were within the 1 km radius, and that was towards the launch that time. It was launched at around nearer towards here, this price. 8 floor transacted at below 2.7 million. And somewhere along last year, I can't remember which day around, maybe around the mid of last year, it was declared that instead of just this Hold on. Instead of just these two blocks, all the other blocks are also all included within the 1 km radius of CHIJ. So it becomes a bonus factor, like what I mentioned just now. Once you have a bonus factor, you throw it in. People become very hyped up. People become like, hey, actually, suddenly there's a bonus, there's something. When sometimes it's not as even attractive as most people think it is, which is quite funny. Later I'll show you another case. But over here, Lentor Hills Residences, you can see 8th floor transacted below 2.7 million. But after the news came out, which I believe it should came out by then already, first floor transacted at above 2.7 million, 2.73 million. So basically, the 8th floor person managed to get almost 30k cheaper than the first floor person. And no, this is not a patio space. This is like a normal standard layout. So you get what I mean? So basically, once you have a bonus factor thrown in, it only sweetens the deal for the developer to go and push up the price, because they know that suddenly people who may want to consider for 1km one, they know that Singaporeans love the 1km thing, right? Why not we go and push up the price? Because eventually there will be buyers that will be willing to pay, and hence they will definitely buy. It's just a matter of time. As a result, you can see this is Q3 over here, is somewhere around I think Q2 or Q3, and then prices went up. So I think this is definitely not unexpected. The other one will be, this is quite funny. This is where we are talking about key residences, which, look at this, when the MRT was announced, the MRT is not even built yet. The MRT is probably going to be built like more than 10 years later after the announcement. But once it announced, you look at what I mentioned again just now, the bonus factor, the bonus star factor thing. Because Singaporeans love schools, MRTs, shopping malls, all these we know and that's why developers, they know, they are not stupid, they know what you like, and then very likely they will charge a premium because of that. And we know that this is one of the most ulu developments in Singapore, but over here, once they announce Maju Maju around here and the location of Maju is somewhere around here in front of SIM. Look at this distance. This distance is like more than 1 kilometers away. More than 1 kilometers away, how long you need to walk? Probably need to walk like a 12 to 15 minutes kind of distance. It's not even close at all. But people just suddenly got MRT factor. Actually, it's not even in a normal context. When I tell somebody that this development is maybe about 1 km away, people so far crazy this one is definitely not walking distance but this one is slightly more than 1 km away and then people go batshit crazy. Suddenly the prices shot up. And as such, I remember soon after the news came out, units were transacting as high as 2003, 2004 by the developer, and people were buying like nobody's business. So you can see, sometimes it doesn't really make sense, but the hype factor behind it just pushes people. There's an MRT coming up. How far doesn't matter as long as there's an MRT coming up. So when it comes to investment, of course you want to look out for factors like this. Sometimes when there's a bonus factor, it doesn't have to be a good school, it doesn't have to be particularly an MRT, but sometimes when there's a bonus factor that comes out, it will most likely sweeten the deal for the developer to push out the price, which if by then the unit already sold out or the development already sold out, then you will be looking at sweetening the deal for the resale buyers. Hence, going back to this, I think once we see this already, and then you can see that time, I remember, unfortunately last time I also unfortunately we can't convince everyone, right? Last time I had a buyer who walked away at units I think available to him at 2 something. He thinks that it's very expensive, and now you look at the market, unfortunately, and this was like maybe only about half a year, slightly only about more than half a year ago, just crossed maybe the half year mark, and look at where we are. If we enter at 2,200 plus, but it's okay. I mean, sometimes people do let fear conquer them. They feel that it's too risky, everything is too expensive, which I believe a lot of people, including those people who are watching my channel, they do feel that way, which is not wrong. But sometimes you need risk, a certain amount of risk. I'm not talking about taking all high crazy risk like going crypto or going like to the moon kind of stocks, but as long as you assess your risk, and it's generally more in the low to mid sort of risk, I think generally it should be fine. Although I must say that it's quite vague in this video. By saying this is quite vague, but I don't think we are going to go deep down. Generally, you want to hedge your risk and try to go, whenever it comes to investment, you want to go for something that is more towards the lower risk and decent returns. I wouldn't say you want to go for the highest returns. If you definitely want to go for highest returns, I don't think Singapore property is going to be something that suits your risk appetite, because it's a little bit too boring. Yes, it does make money, but it's not going to make you money like maybe 1,000%, 10,000%, that kind of thing. It doesn't work that way in Singapore anymore. Last time, yes, but not here. So you can see that Nava Growth averaging already currently 2007, and this is before the news even come out. So once this news come out, this one comes out, then will this be a repeat again of what is gonna be? I wouldn't say that it's gonna shoot up to 3,000 for sure within the next 1-2 years, but how is it gonna move again? That one is a question mark. So I don't think that there's gonna be chances of it going down from here anymore. The interesting thing is that they have decided, surprisingly, that I think this is the first time if somebody heard something, you heard of some other developments that changed their plans like this one. What happened was, obviously previously I already mentioned to a lot of people that the 4-bedroom dual key was an absolute nightmare. It's an absolute disaster. I have no idea why they even decided to implement it, but they decided to U-turn, unless I have outdated information. Then now they're going to change it, which I think was a good thing, because there's no way they're going to sell that. It just doesn't suit the demographic in that area. So yes, dual key is slowly I think losing its popularity, despite what some other influencers or YouTubers are saying, or maybe even other agents are saying, it's a good rental yield. But remember, when it comes to such a big property purchase, remember to focus on the bigger numbers at stake. So like I mentioned just now, over here, whether is it going to be here like this, or like this, I think we already seen the answer over here. They are going to move the price. So I'm not telling you to rush in. I'm not saying that it's a very good deal now, but I'm telling you that sometimes when all these developments have this bonus factor added in post launch, then what is going to happen to the price? Okay, so it's just an example. And for those of you who are thinking that, the economy is going to crash, developers are very skeptical, very scared, whatever. If you do a due diligence, if you go and find the right developments, go and find the right opportunity, most of the time the price trend for these developments is just gonna go up. This one is another one. This one is another one. You can see all announced within the span of this month. Alright. So remember, like I mentioned, there is no reward without risk. But of course, I'm not telling you to go and chunk all the risks, but make sure you know what you're doing. Assess the right opportunities. There are definitely opportunities in this market, but make sure you know what exactly you're doing. If you find what I shared today is useful to you, then please remember to like, share, subscribe. And then see you guys next time.